Folks, it was only 9 months ago that Northwestern was riding a 7-game winning streak. They were coming off a 10-3 campaign and the school's first bowl win since, I think, the 1949 Rose Bowl, if memory serves me correctly. Mark Rogers TV, continuing our series looking at every Power 5 conference schedule in college football. We're in the Big Ten Western Division. Northwestern coming off 7 consecutive losses, and then they finally won a game against Illinois to complete the 2013 campaign, but disastrous for this program. Again, they were on a roll. They beat Mississippi State in the Gator Bowl to end 2012 10-3, ranked close to the top 15 in the country. Started off 4-0, had the big showdown against Ohio State on Saturday night in Evanston, played the Buckeyes toe-to-toe until about the final 5 minutes of that game. Lost it, then lost 7 straight, and look at this program now. Northwestern, this is a key make-or-break season for Pat Fitzgerald, not for his job necessarily, but for the emergence of this program that looked to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten. But now you bring in Rutgers and Maryland, you move Northwestern, keep them in the Western Division, bring in Wisconsin, you've got Nebraska and Iowa. Fortunately for the Wildcats, Michigan State go to the Eastern Division, so there could be some scheduling relief there for Northwestern in future years. Credit the Wildcats. While many Big Ten teams have been criticized for not scheduling tough enough, Northwestern's scheduling on par with the schools that you would expect Northwestern to be able to set up some cross-regional rivalries against in recent years. Look at the 2 wins against Vanderbilt. Look how good the Commodores have been in recent years. Back-to-back 9-4 campaigns. Northwestern swept Vandy out of the SEC. They took out Syracuse and Boston College. They've got a home-and-home going right now with Cal, and that is certainly the headliner for the non-conference slate for the Wildcats in 2014. So that's the home opener, and that's the season opener on ABC, that opening Saturday. Northwestern hoping to get off to a good start in 2014 against the Cal Golden Bears. Then they've got Northern Illinois. They've got Western Illinois. The other non-conference game with Notre Dame, ending series with Michigan State, and Purdue, their old rivals. They start a series with Northwestern. So Northwestern late in the season, the third to the last game of the season, taking on Northwestern in Evanston. So those are the 4 non-conference games. So Northwestern scheduling fairly tough here with Notre Dame, the third to the last game of the season at home. And then again, the first 3 games of the season, Cal, Northern Illinois. And we know what Northern Illinois has done in recent years, specifically the last 2, and going to a BCS game and almost back to a BCS game last season before losing the MAC championship game, and Western Illinois. So not easy for Northwestern. They could go 2-2 non-conference, and then that sets up very, very difficult for them to make a postseason play, because this is one of the toughest stretches in Big Ten play that you could imagine. Here we go. When they start conference play, Northwestern plays this string in a row. Listen to this. At Penn State, Wisconsin, at Minnesota, Nebraska, at Iowa, at Michigan, at Notre Dame. At Penn State, Bill O'Brien's brought that program back. James Franklin has brought more energy. The Nittany Lions on the road in Happy Valley. That's very difficult for the Big Ten opener. Then you got division favorite Wisconsin at home. Then you go to Minnesota. This time last year, it looked like Northwestern on the ascension. Minnesota flatlining. The Gophers coming off an 8-4 regular season, won that game against Northwestern last season on the road. Now Northwestern's got to go to Minnesota, and that's probably the easiest game in the stretch of 7 games. Then they've got to go consecutively 3-game road streak to Iowa, Michigan, and Notre Dame. That's going to be very difficult. If Northwestern can win 2 of those games, if they can win 2 and go 3-1 non-conference, beat Cal, Northern Illinois, Western Illinois, not that they can see the game against Notre Dame, but let's say they go 3-1 non-conference. Then they win 2 of those games in that stretch of 7. then they've got a chance because they finish up at Purdue and against Illinois, and that is 3-1. That's 5. That's 7 wins for the Wildcats. That's probably best case scenario for the Northwestern Wildcats, going 7-5, back to postseason play and back to that stretch of solid football play for a program that was reaching toward the upper echelon of the Big Ten just months ago. Now, losers of 7 of 8 and facing that schedule. Would love to hear, Big Ten fans, what you feel about this Northwestern schedule. Again, Cal and Notre Dame and Northern Illinois in the non-conference play, arguably the toughest non-conference schedule in the Big Ten. I know Michigan State plays Oregon. Michigan's got a date. Who do they play? Michigan's got Utah. And Michigan's got little else on their schedule. Ohio State, Virginia Tech. Penn State's got Central Florida. But Northwestern, the Pac-12 team in Cal, even though it's the worst in the Pac-12, again, Northern Illinois, about the toughest MAC opponent you can possibly face, and the game against Notre Dame. And then the Big Ten doing no favors for Pat Fitzgerald out of division with the game against Michigan and also Penn State. So again, this stretch, this is brutal. One more time, at Penn State, Wisconsin, at Minnesota, Nebraska, at Iowa, at Michigan, at Notre Dame. Northwestern, the formula here, 3-1 non-conference, win 2 of that stretch of 7. That doesn't sound like many, but go 2-5, and then you finish off with 2 wins at Purdue and Illinois, and incredibly, you get to postseason play with a game to spare at 7-5. All right, Big Ten fans, Northwestern fans out there, please chime in. Would love to hear your comments about your football team and this schedule right here on Mark Rogers TV.